Hey, welcome to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. That's the big hotline that everybody's calling to find out what they should do to get themselves healthy and wealthy. We talk about the 4 pillars of a healthy home. On this program, we're talking about the structure itself, the house, and we talk about the ecosystem, what's going on inside the house. We talk about your physical body and well-being, and we talk about your spiritual and emotional well-being. If all 4 of those pillars aren't in place, guess what happens, Sheila? Mm-hmm. The roof comes tumbling
Yes,
down. All right.
It does.
651-775-9194. We're hiring. Sheila, what do you need?
I need ambitious
people.
Yes. Somebody that has a passion to share and speak and talk about health, wellness. You don't have to know all about it. I will help you and guide you through that. So the nurturing person that isn't afraid to speak up.
All right, so this is a paid position, so you're going to be you have to be able to get in front of people and present products and solutions to problems on the health and wellness field. If you're not interested in that health and wellness field, please don't apply because you're not a good fit. You have to be you have to be interested in the thing, otherwise it doesn't make sense either way because then you're just pushing a lie. So if you're in there, just give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling, 651-775-9194. Go online to ourhealthyhomes.com. Fill out the form, and we'll reach out to you. In-person interview. If you're scared to have an in-person interview, you're not a good fit. All right.
Way to tell them like it is.
Yeah, you got some stuff coming up,
Yeah, I do. And tonight is actually a fun night for me because it is a friend, customer, whatever you want to call yourself. She has a passion to share with her friends the awareness. So she wants to help them be aware of some of the things that they're dealing with. And she recently has had cirrhosis of the liver, so we're working through that. But now now that she's aware of it, which is what happens, right? Now, once you're aware of it, you personally, now you feel like you need to make other people aware of it or help them.
It's like someone who quit smoking.
Yes, right.
You
want to help somebody else, right?
Yep.
Because you're trying to now help yourself, and you want that friend, that person in your corner along with you. It's kind of like losing weight, right? You want to go to the club with somebody, you want to work out with somebody, so you want that companion to go down that road, and you're just aware of it more, and you care more. So you care more about your friends and family and the people that are in your life, and you want to help them do better. And so I'm excited to be able to share my story with them tonight, do an ITOVI scan, which is a scan that reads your body through your meridian points, and it tells us what's going on in your body today. So it doesn't lie.
No.
Let's just say that. When the things come up for people, deep down they know.
Yeah.
Like if digestion comes up, they know they're having some digestive issues. If it's the kidneys and, brain fog and extra weight and, things like that. So they know it. And so we're going to be able to do that on each person and see how each
what
person,
comes up.
Yep, what comes up. And of course, everybody loves the detox foot bath. So that thing is fun, but gross because of what it pulls out of the body. And then each color of what comes out indicates your body. Where did it come from? So did it come from your joints? Did it come from your liver, your kidneys, heavy metals, candida, and things like that? So that's a super fun thing for me to be able to do, is because I just get to share my story, pamper you a little bit, give you a little bit of awareness. And like I always tell people, I can't force anybody to want to make this decision to change their life, but I'm your cheerleader, I'm your coach. I'm here to be able to help you move through that path, because I did, and it's worth it, and I want to help other people come out better on the other side.
Oh, it's just like every morning, Sheila, I'm coaching you. I get up, I say, do better.
Do better.
Do better.
What does your screen say? Just do more?
No, it says do something
Oh, wow.
Great.
Do something great. Okay. So anyway, that's tonight, but go to ourhealthyhomes.com. I have most everything loaded that's coming up. And so we've got a holiday reset. You guys are going to shoot me for already starting to talk about the holidays. But it's important because we have a lot of times put on some of that summer weight, and then we're just going to roll into the holidays with it. So Friday, October 4th, Friday, I picked a Friday night because women, we need to support ourselves. We need to have self-care. We need to, okay, Keith gets a little crazy when I say pamper because I might pamper myself.
Gee, self-care is
a little bit more than the average person.
That's our address.
So anyway, take the time Friday night, come with some friends, and hear about self-care, yes, and learn about a program, which is our 14-day reset, which is going to help you feel better, less brain fog. Inflammation's like the biggest thing that people lose from this 14-day reset. So,
know what I like about it? All kidding aside.
Yeah. Right.
Two things. First of all, these programs, when you do the ITOVI and when you do the foot bath, so many times in the health and wellness journey where you're doing a natural, it's slow.
It is slow.
You know, I mean, it just is.
Yep.
You got to saddle up for that because this is not a quick ride.
Right.
But with the ITOVI, it's instant response. What is it? 90 seconds or whatever it is.
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. And you get an answer and you get a direction. With the foot bath, I mean, you put your feet in it. It's pleasant, you know, and it is a pampering thing. But you see results right now.
Right.
And it's like motivating because that's disgusting. So with that, you know, there is. Then you got the 14-day reset. It's 14 days.
Right.
You can do it. Who can't? Right. You can do anything for 14 days. And in 14 days, you will feel amazing results.
Yes.
And when you feel the results that quickly, then it's like, there might be something to this stuff and to this journey. And you're encouraged then to take the next step, go on, maybe do it again.
Yeah.
You know, maybe just make that part of your daily routine, make it part of your lifestyle.
Right.
And you'll feel, if you're lucky, really lucky, maybe someday you'll feel as good as I do.
So we've got that. We've got our guest today. So we've got the Savvy Women are going to learn about investing, and that is October 16th. And so we've got Erica on the show today to tell us about that. Pickleball Pamper Retreat, that is October 18th to 20th. And so you can go on the website, look at the events tab, see all these on there. And the thing that I get a top 3 things that I get the most is how do I reduce my blood sugars? I know and I've heard about cleanses, but I don't have a clue of where to start. I went online. I went down the rabbit hole. There's like 10,000, people that are talking about cleanses and which ones which one which ones are good ones, bad ones, all the things. The thing is that with the cleanses, it's a question I get all the time. Which one? How long? Why? Okay. And the critical piece to that is if you've never done any kind of cleanse, you have to do these things in the right order because otherwise you could possibly feel sicker than you need to.
Have a reaction that's unpleasant.
Right. Herx reaction, you can Google that. Healing crisis, we call it. But the body needs to rid all of that stuff out in order for the organs and you and your brain and all the things to feel better. So if you're not getting the proper drainage, then it backs up, right? And it becomes even more toxic because now you've taken your body, shook the jar,
right?
The toxins are flying all over, but if you don't have the proper tools to pull them out and drain them,
they're going to settle back in.
Yep. Which then when that happens, which is the world walking around right now with parasites and
dirty world.
Dirty world. It slows everything down, right? So it slows the body down. Your tissues can't heal. Your organs aren't as healthy as they should. And we do feel great.
Right.
Right?
And when
And
that
you can
happens, we
too.
get all plugged up like that, your reaction time to pickleball gets much slower. And we can't be
We
having
can't have that.
We can't
have that.
This is Our Healthy Homes,
Yes.
ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. When we come back, we're going to talk with Erica Greenlee. We're going to talk about
Did you say that right?
We're going to talk
Greenlee,
about
yeah.
financial planning for women,
Right.
which I don't know how they can even do it, to be honest with you.
Go get them,
We'll
Erica.
be right back. Thanks for sticking around. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. I'll say it again, 651-775-9194. Give Sheila a ring-a-ling-a-ling, and she'll be happy to have a chat with you and get you pointed in the right direction down your health journey. Okay. I'm all excited about this because I'm a bean counter, financial.
Oh, he is.
I'm an accountant, and so I'm going to drill down and get some questions answered here. I want to talk about one thing. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So, first of all, give us the name of your company, some contact information, because people are listening. They're going to want to reach out to you, and they're going to want to know who to call.
Yeah. So I work with a small group of advisors. Our broker dealer is LPL Financial. They're the biggest broker dealer in the country for independent financial advisors. I own my own financial services company. That group that I work with, though, is called Lakeshore Group Wealth Management. We're right on the corner of 494 in France in Edina.
Okay. So if someone wants to call you, do you want them to call or go to the website, or how they want to get a hold of you?
Gee, whatever works best for you. I've got my phone number, my email.
So I have I got a phone number here, 612-584-3322. Will that get you to you?
That'll be me.
Okay. All right, got that out of the way. Housekeeping. So, women and money. I'm already confused because it just seems like the two things shouldn't be said in the same sentence unless someone's handing somebody a credit card. Let me ask you this. With a young, like a single mom trying to raise a kid or two, hand to mouth, they're worried about buying baby formula. And now you're talking about wealth management and stuff. It just seems like that it's going to be hard for them even to listen to you because there's such a disconnect. What would you advise them to do when they're in that position? I have no money at the end of the month and you're telling me to save money.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Yeah, so I think it's just kind of starting the conversation, right, of what's possible, because we all have goals, and it doesn't define you what situation you're in now. It's about where you're going.
Okay.
I always like to plan, like I say, with the end in mind.
Mhm.
So maybe right now it's not exactly feasible to be like fully contributing to some of these accounts, but maybe, just maybe, we can budget in, a $10 contribution
Mhm.
to something that you can just keep up with, and that's doable for you. It's less than a subscription to Netflix, I
Mhm.
like to say.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter where you start. It's just consistent habits that will get you there.
So you're developing patterns and habits and that, not so much worried about how much you're accumulating for now.
Yeah.
And anything is possible. Sheila says lots of times, give me your Visa card statement and I'll find $10 that you have left over that you can invest in your well-being. What do you have, She?
Yeah, I just right where I was going. Do you sit down with women and do just that? Go through their finances and dissect it to figure out a way of what you can put aside, or what? Okay, this Target bill of $200, was everything on there a necessity, or was there the clearance section that had, the $5 this and the $10 this and that bag of
that you really
M&Ms and the
didn't need.
movie
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
$5 T-shirt that the child did? Do you ever sit down and go through that with people?
Yeah, everything is priorities, right? You can find money for whatever you want if you're focused on it. And I truly believe that, just kind of like what your point was there. I do have a budgeting coach that I work closely with. So if we do need to bring in additional help in order to see how that would work for them, it's almost always just a reallocation of their funds. So anything is possible. You can get there. It's just making sure that, again, we have the right priorities, that we have that end goal in mind, and we know what we're working towards, because it's a lot easier to work towards something when you have a goal for it If you're just saving money to save money, I mean, go for it. But then what's it going to do for you sitting in an account somewhere?
Right. So I think of it as this. Tell me if I'm wrong. If we do health and wellness and real estate. So I want to talk to people before they put the wrong paint on the wall. So the earlier that I can get to them in the process, the better. Even if that means that they're not moving until next year or the year after. I'd rather talk to them now and advise them to not invest in this because you're not going to get your money back. If you want to do it because you like it, okay, super. That's a different reason. Same thing with the health.
Yes.
You'll invest in your health now to avoid high costs later. So if you have no money now, it's still better to go to the doctor now than after you have stage 5 cancer or stage 4 or whatever it is. So that's how I look at it. What different challenges? I know Sheila's budgetedly challenged. So
okay.
What do you find is the challenge between speaking with men and women?
Yeah.
When you talk about money.
So men typically just have a very transactional mindset. So it will make sense for me to spend this money if it's going to get me ahead, or if it's going to create a legacy, or if it's going to take care of my family. That's kind of their like main priorities. And women have similar priorities in taking care of their family, but they have so many other factors that they have to put in there, right? Like they're thinking like, oh, Susie's going to do soccer in the spring. I got to make sure that I have that money for Susie set aside so that she can participate with that team because that's really important to her. Or I know that the kids are going to need a new set of clothes. They're growing out of their shoes, whatever it might be. Just a lot more considerations on like those small details in the home that typically have just been female driven. That's just kind of how society has gone. It's kind of that societal roles. And what we're really trying to do is understand that those are strengths and they can translate to wealth, not just to those day-to-day things, not just to like the small details that seem insignificant. When I'm talking with men, it's more a conversation of, so you know everything that's going on. You've got it all set up. So what happens if something happens to you? And she doesn't know what you're doing. So then we're in that situation, and I see it all the time with my widows, my divorcees, single moms. They just have no concept of where the finances are. And that's a dangerous place to be for women, and it sets them back, a lot. Just kind of the single mom aspect you were kind of talking about. If they had that financial security up front, and I relate it all the time back to I was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years. If I go back and do it again, I would be telling my husband he needs to be putting money in an account for me so that I can make sure that I'm still building during that time and not having to play catch-up later.
When you sit down with someone for the first time, no matter what their age are, what their situation is, a familiar situation is, no matter what it is, when we say, I'm thinking of Sheila's Muffin Meltdown program, very linear program. These are the steps that we do. This is the order that we do them in to get the best result for you and the outcome that you're looking for. Do you have a similar plan like that when you're sitting down and talking to people?
Yeah, so it is kind of hard in my industry to do that because everybody's financial situation is completely different. Typically, we'll just do like a strategy session, which is just going over what the different types of accounts are and how they work so that you have a base of information because we're just not educated on that, not in school. If you didn't have parents that were very financially fluent or didn't really have those conversations with you, you don't really know. And the first part of knowing what you don't know is asking the questions. So we'll sit down, we'll go through that, and then I'll say, is there anything you want to clarify? Does this look good to you? What's most important to you? Then we get into more of the goal setting. So like, what is the number one goal? If the number one goal is retirement, okay, well then we're going to go here. If the number one goal is just making sure we have a good emergency fund, so then if something comes up, we're going to go here. So it really depends not only on where they are in life, but also priorities. And that's really my job, is to create that relationship. And that's where I find women are often lacking in the financial realm, is they don't have a relationship with their financial advisor. They don't feel like they can call them and just say, hey, I'm thinking about making this decision. Kind of like the paint example. What do you think about that? Or, hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. What does that look like for revenue? Like, years down the road, if we just went like off of what I've seen so far, like I'm the one-stop shop for that, right? So people come to me for house sales, car insurance, budgeting, all of those things. And that's what a financial advisor is. And I think the old rhetoric of like, you need to have a certain amount of money to invest with a financial advisor just needs to go away. Any financial advisor worth, the time, will be there to say, I'll at least sit down and have a conversation with you and tell you what you could utilize to make your life a little bit better. Because honestly, the clients I teach are often the best clients, not the ones who already have the money and have built the wealth.
So when we come back, I do want to talk about that a little bit, because having the relationship part of it is so important, because there's got to be a trust there, because you're dealing with people's money. And that's I don't care who you are, when you start talking about your money, your guard starts going up, because the internal thought in someone's mind is, I have money and she's trying to get some of it. That is what, whether they say it or not, that's what's going on. And until that relationship is there, that's just always going to be that, like this cloud hanging out the back. Someone told me I had a relationship with my closer one time. And so I did, and I wound up marrying her. So, just like that didn't work out so good. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. Go out and pay some bills. We'll be right back after these messages. 651-775-9194. Give Sheila a ring-a-ling-a-ling, and we'll be right back. Hi there, we're with Erica Greeny, and we're talking about finances, Lakeshore Group Wealth Management. And we're talking about finances, especially just focusing during this conversation on finances for women. And I got a question for you. So we deal with probate a lot of probate. And so we're dealing with people whose spouses passed away or whatever it is, lots of women. And they maybe have, they've got life insurance, and they've got some retirement savings. They got all of a sudden they're aware that they've got this pot of money over here, and especially with life insurance now, where it's like a windfall of cash, and they don't really know what to do with it. How is that conversation different and how do you approach that conversation with that person who's probably, middle-aged or, 50s, 60s, something like that, and, maybe has never had to manage money before, and now it's always like, well, how does this work in with our retirement and all that? Well, how's that conversation go?
Yeah, so just kind of mindset, right? So like your spouse has passed away, you're kind of going through those like grieving stages. The kind of initial reaction when like, okay, there was all this, money out there, whether or not you knew exactly where it was, you might not know exactly how it works. Mm-hmm. For females, I find that's like probably the most pivotal time for them. If you get with the wrong person and you're just saying like, I think I'm just going to take it all out, and you don't know what the consequences are for that, and they're just kind of like, well, if that's your wish, you take care of it, and that has,
because I get a transaction fee.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That has sullied the financial advising space, I think, quite a bit. That they're just like, well, if that's your decision, that's your decision. I had a relationship with your husband. I didn't have a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. So from here, I don't know. It's the unpredictability of I don't know how you're going to move forward with your money. But that is the perfect time to have the educational conversation. This is what you have. This is the ideal way that we're going to use this to continue to support you throughout your lifetime. And they just want someone to sit with them, and that's really the last thing they should worry about when they're grieving is someone who's going to say, oh, well, I'll figure it out. They need someone who's going to say, you're going to need someone to, come in and help you with this. And there are quite a few clients I have in that space, like in the 50s, 60s, I like to say, and like, it's kind of a shocking statistic, like women, 59 is the average age of a widow.
Really?
So that's still pretty young. Ooh. Yeah. An average lifespan for a female is 76, so that's a long time to not know what you're doing with your money. And
right,
women,
59 to 76,
yeah.
Right?
Well, and thanks to Sheila, women are living longer.
Right. Exactly.
So then they really have to plan, because then they've got all these years, right now we're projecting out into your 90s as far as lifespan. Mm-hmm. So that money's got to make it, the full way. And if you're not strategic with it and you don't have someone who's going to listen to you and understand what your priorities are, not the person who originally had the money, if that was your husband, unfortunately he's gone, and it's your turn to take the reins.
Belly up.
Yeah.
Okay, so then just listening to you now, I'm getting anxious. So
I'll
with
give you
that,
something for that.
So with that, I know that with our probate work and when we're dealing with a surviving spouse, they are anxious about a lot of things, not just money. Money is just one of them looming out there,
one of the pieces.
But they've got other concerns that they're anxious about, and remaining family members, and what am I going to do to the house? Where am I going to live? Do I stay here? Just decisions to be made. How do you sit with them? You said sit with them. I like that, because that is sometimes you just got to sit with them.
Yeah.
And let them talk. But how do you work through that anxiousness and comfort them in that situation and make them not fearful about making the decisions?
Compassion, empathy, and patience. So, maybe they're not ready to come up with a whole financial strategy in that moment, but maybe they're okay with just making the step of getting the things in their name, figuring out where all the pieces are. Actually, if I can be on the front end of that, which is the conversation I have with men often, I carry these small books. I'll leave one here because I'm sure you guys want to take a look at one of those. But it has all the computer passwords, all the financial account passwords, your insurance agent, your lawyer, your tax accountant, your financial advisor, all of the important people in there, the beneficiaries, the account numbers, what the account is. So like in categories, so it's an important part to have all of those things previous to when that moment happens. But if we don't, it's really just saying, hey, we didn't have the tools. Now we're going to go forward from here. If you're not ready right now to do it all, let's start with one step. Let's start with just getting this set up and getting this organized so you know where that is. A lot of the widows I'm with, I call Social Security office with them, and that's a big deal. It's hard to get on the phone with Social Security office.
Yeah, you're on hold for 2 hours.
Yep, and then they want to get off the phone as quick as possible and get to the next person. And you don't know what questions to ask. There's no reason you would know what questions to ask. So that's where I really sit with them and just say, we're going to call. We're going to see what we have going on so we can make smart decisions going forward. But it's important for them to know all of the facts.
How many, because let's face it, like technology is it, right? So we got a password to get our, phone on. How many people have all of their passwords and all of that stuff stored in the computer? So how do you even get to
access
that, right? If that's where it's all at.
Yeah, so I like to provide, it's a little booklet, and it'll say like your laptop computer password, and then you could write in there directions to go to the right folder if that's how you want to store it. Otherwise, if you're good with writing everything down, it's just a small book you can keep in your safe. Some people call it a doom book or a death book.
Oh, sure.
And then they just have that. And that's the only thing they have to find. If your spouse knows where that is, and that's the only thing they have to look for, it's just there for them.
That's
it's
the
ready
death
to go.
doula book.
The death doula book.
Maybe that's what I should start calling myself, the death doula.
I mean, there are death doulas out there. But,
yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's so techie that I mean, like when my dad passed, everything was in the folder. Every password, his obituary was written. Like, I mean, I didn't have to do a thing but facilitate all of the paperwork and, sell the house and things like that. And it really made it a lot easier. Yes. So people put it in the safe. How many years ago when we had to have the abstracts, to transfer title, you had to have that. Where did people keep it? They kept it in their freezer, right? So if the house burned down, it was in the freezer. But I'm going to guess most people have a fireproof safe now that they can. Okay, so now you got the fireproof safe. Where's that number?
Right.
To
Where's
open
the
up
key?
The safe.
Yeah.
The key, right?
Well, yeah, at least, I mean, I can help you half the way. You gotta use a little bit of your own.
Something.
Right. And the other thing that happens a lot is the safety deposit banks, right? So there's only typically like one name, right, on the safety deposit box. you got to get a couple of more names on that safety
Mhm.
deposit box. So if we need to get in there,
Yeah.
If the executor
the-
has to get in there or something, he's got
right,
access.
that they're listed on that, so that
Yeah.
it makes it easier to get in there to get those life insurance policies and all the things.
What do you think are some of the most common mistakes that women make?
Not putting someone on their bank account is a big one. Whether that is the executor of your will, son or daughter, or your spouse, or your sister, or whatever you want to do. But
Someone you trust.
Yep, having that is crucial. I will say most of the families I work with that didn't have that immediate bank account access, it makes it extremely difficult because then
Mhm.
you got to work through all the processes to get any money to do anything. And at that point, you're just worried about the person who passed away and making sure that their wishes are followed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting the funeral taken care of and all that stuff, but you still got to pay the light bill.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right,
The
yes.
money's got to be there. Final minute and a half. When women are talking with married, now we've been talking about spouses, death, and all that stuff. Okay, so we're still married, and we're kind of rolling along. Life is good. We're nearing retirement age. How do you think the woman should engage in the conversation with her spouse about the money thing?
Yeah.
Because I know what he's going to say is, I got it taken care of. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And that is, again, the conversation I have with men all the time. It's great that you have it taken care of and you know what's going on. But what about her? Does she know what's going on? Does she know what the expectations are? And that's having those deeper conversations. And I think that's what this Savvy Women Invest on Purpose kind of program is for women, is understanding that we have these natural strengths and we talk about money differently. Going back to paying for Susie's soccer or whatever it is. I kind of break it down into 3 categories. So it's living, lifestyle, and luxury. And that's a great way to just have a very basic conversation with your spouse about what is a living expense for us? What is crucial to us just existing? What is a lifestyle expense? What's going to make us happy, especially in retirement? What makes sense? And then after that, you can move into the luxury category of like trips and extra homes and all the other things you want to do. But getting clear on what those goals are is the best way to continue to keep yourself motivated.
Because as people change and as life changes, their dreams change or their thoughts change about, like he doesn't like to travel, whereas it's like, well, I thought that's what we were going to do when we retired.
Okay, we'll be right back.
All right.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. We're with Erica. We're talking about financial planning for women. I know it's an oxymoron, but we're going to talk about it anyhow.
We're going to change that.
You
We're gonna
actually,
change that.
We're changing
we
the
are
world.
changing that. We're
Yes,
changing
we
the
are.
world, the dynamic of the world. You actually give classes and you teach on this to women in a comfortable, private, not like one-on-one. I suppose you do one-on-one too, but it's more comfortable like in a small group setting, and where women can exchange ideas and kind of have some interaction. You know how sometimes it is they're either afraid to ask a question or they don't realize that they have the question until someone else asks it, and they go, oh yeah, I think about that. Tell us about these classes.
Yeah, so it's really about creating community for me. Obviously, it's great to be in a group of women that is my ideal demographic, but at the same time, it does bring up a lot of things that either women are not saying out loud or they've never thought about that are important. So with the Savvy Women Invest on Purpose, essentially it's just going through the things that women naturally do and how we naturally have, processes and systems that work for us in order for us to be productive and in order for us to make sure our household is running and that people are taken care of, because women are naturally nurturers. And then just making sure you have a purpose too, a reason to get up every day, which is something I talk about a lot with retirees. It's really important. So many look at, okay, I'm going to be 65, then I can retire.
Yeah, who wants to retire?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Jeez.
Your brain starts to shut down. You have to stay sharp. You have to stay engaged, even if it's, a part-time position or a consulting situation or something where you can just have a hobby that is like a multiple times a week. So you have a reason to get up and move. Health also super important. The sooner you have health problems, the less distance your money is going to go.
All right, let me ask you this. When you have your classes, I want to just think about the group dynamic of the class. Would you rather have a class full of people that are similarly aged with a similar background, or would you rather have a more diverse group where younger people are learning from older people and sharing back and forth that way? Which do you think is more effective and more beneficial to the participant?
Yeah. Typically, diverse groups are better because some of the problems that women are facing in their 20s, they're not thinking about when they're in their 50s and vice versa. You know, thinking back to like if they haven't started yet, maybe that 20-year-old is starting out, but maybe that 50-year-old is also starting out. And maybe they just need that person to have that like first conversation with me at a group like that, or with someone next to them, and they'll overhear that, and then that'll inspire them to start doing something. We go through a few exercises as well that kind of learns to make those goals and priorities a little bit more tangible. Like, what value do we put on those certain things in our life?
Tell me more about the exercises.
Yeah. So the living lifestyle and luxury is a big part of it. But the other one is like a monopoly money. So you're assigning like how much of my money goes towards like living expenses, how much of my money goes towards lifestyle expenses, and how much of mine goes towards luxury. There are some women that will put a bulk of those, monies into their living expenses because they want to live a comfortable life and that's their biggest priority. There's other women that will put a bulk of their money into the luxury category because that makes the most sense to them. They're looking at what's in the future. What can I get? What can I do?
Are most of those women, do you find the similarities like they're mostly named Sheila?
Yeah, that's it. Well, my question, with the diversity in the group is, let's say, I'm that 60-year-old, right? And then there's a 20-year-old in there, right? And the 60-year-old might say to the 20-year-old, I wish I would have had this conversation with my daughters.
Lament.
Or I wish, right? I wish I would have with a friend, with a sister, with a daughter, with a son.
The same thing holds with the health and wellness, Sheila.
Yes.
So many people say, I wish I would have started this 10 years ago.
Yes, right.
Because I feel so good now. I could have felt like this for the last 10 years.
Right. And I think of, our friends that, unfortunately have had, a health crisis, and it's like, how do people plan for those cancers and those health issues that come up? Is that a standard bucket that people are putting their money in?
Yeah.
I don't know that people look forward.
People don't.
They buy insurance.
And I will say, especially men.
Right. Yes,
because they're invincible and nothing's ever going to happen to them.
Right. And if it happens to them, it's fine because then the wife will be taken care of.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Where I find the most value in those conversations is having the real story be painted out of what that does to your financial accounts if you don't have coverage. I'm a huge proponent for long-term care in whatever capacity you have it in your portfolio. It's just a good idea to have.
Does that get more expensive when you get, at some point it's like you're 75, 80 years old and you say, well, geez, I think we should probably get some long-term care. That's going to be real spendy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But would you have been in a financial place in your 20s or 30s to invest in something like that? And where's your priorities, right? If you're trying to leave a legacy and you want to leave the most money behind, that something like that's going to be important. If you're trying to just live off of what you've got until, you go, then it's less important to you. Again, that just all goes back to priorities and how you want your life to look.
Guys, I have conversations with my friends like this all the time. We all say massive heart attack. That's what we want. No nursing home, none of that deal. Massive heart attack.
Don't keep me alive.
I'm going out.
Yeah.
With a bang. And I'm going to run right up to the wall. And then when I hit the wall and drop, then that's good. That's a perfect way to go.
Yeah.
So as far as the life insurance and the long-term care insurance, do you handle that then, or do you send that?
Yeah, I also do life insurance and long-term care insurance. And I think a really important distinction too, if someone's never worked with a financial advisor. I'm a fiduciary. I work in that capacity. So what that means is I can't make any non-suitable recommendations. My recommendations need to be in the best interest of my client. So it's not like I'm just generating a commission. I work in a one wrap fee capacity, and that's just the best way that I can cover all of those categories. But I am also licensed in life, accident, and health. So yes, I can provide those types of products.
All right. So in the wrap up, then, I want to talk about some of the uniqueness of financial challenges that women will encounter at all ages. What are some of those challenges that are common to all age groups, and what are some of the challenges that are unique to a younger person and to an older person? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Can you handle that?
So almost all marketing is directed towards women
Mm-hmm.
because we are the people who like to spend the money.
Yeah.
You know, let's just put it out there.
No
You got-
disagreement. No disagreement
So
there.
the marketers aren't dumb. They're
Right.
doing what they need to do to make it happen. So I think one thing to not fall into is once your income increases, not increasing your lifestyle expenses. Like maybe you have a special thing that you do for yourself for self-care, and you put money aside, and that's what that's for. But you know, statistically, as people start to get more money, they start to spend more money.
Right.
So then it's like you're not gaining anything. No matter how much money you make, it's not going to make any difference
Right.
if you're not maintaining
'Cause
any
you're
of
spending
that
it.
wealth. Yes. So I'd say one thing is like keeping up with the Joneses,
Mhm.
feeling like you need to have the newest, best everything. Almost everything in the world. There's so much information out there now. You can always get like, you know, the off-brand or the dupe of something, or buy it secondhand, or whatever that looks like, and still have, you know, those nice things, but then save for them so you can buy them all in cash, and it's not a stress on, you know, your finances, your relationship. There's just so many things that happen when people spend beyond their means. So that's, I would say, one unique challenge for women. And then it's just too, like, again, we're the primary buying for the children often. So that's, you know, whether that be clothing, shoes, sports, whatever it is, we tend to be the people who take that on, and we're more conscious of it, but then making sure like we have a budget for that too, so that it doesn't spiral out of control.
And
'Cause it's
nobody
very
needs
easy to.
40 pairs of shoes.
Yeah. Well, unless you want 40 pairs of shoes, then you're going to be doing some good saving. That's what I hear.
So I've always thought it's best when you buy something, whatever it is, pay cash, and buy the best one you possibly can afford. Buy the absolute best one, and then keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it forever. Because if you buy the good one, it still is good. In 20 years, it's going to still be good.
That's how I break it up.
Yeah.
So if you want it right now, then buy the off-brand, buy the cheaper version, buy it secondhand. If you are willing to wait a little while and save up some money, buy the nicest one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then you made a goal for yourself, you hit that goal, and that's your reward. And that's how you are successful at goal setting.
2008 car, right? My car is a 2008. I've taken care of it. I love it. It just keeps running, and it's the same thing with your body, right? Like, let's start taking care of your body so you can still be able to.
What year is that? Your car is 2008. What
Right.
year is the body?
Right, 1964,
There
baby.
you go, 1964. I'm excited because I have an old snowblower. You know, it's 25 years old, and I just got it tuned up, and it runs like a champion. It's like I'm thrilled to have this old snowblower because it's
Yeah.
really good, and it runs like a champion, and it was the best one I could buy at the time.
Yeah.
And it's still really good.
They just don't make them like
They don't make
used to.
them like
Right,
that anymore. It's
right,
our health. It's just
right.
like guys. They don't make them like us
Like
anymore.
right.
This is Our Healthy Homes. OurHealthyHomes.com.
Thank you.
OurHealthyHomes.com. Thanks, Erica. 651-775-9194. Give Sheila a ring-a-ling-a-ling. She'll get you going in the right direction. See you next week.
But when he calls me sugar, I love that man with all my might. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon. Sugar after When he calls me that name, it does things to me. I tell him, honey, you can call me sugar.